up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with guitarjamzdotcom. I'm going to teach you 3 different licks that you can add into your blues playing, and they all pretty much are influenced by Albert King. And if you're a blues aficionado, you know Albert King already, but if you're, another type of person that's just playing a bunch of different styles and trying to get into guitar, Albert King was one of the primary influences on Stevie Ray Vaughan. So when you're kind of learning these licks, they're kind of like Stevie Ray Vaughan licks, but yet he was heavily influenced by Albert King, and that's kind of where a lot of that Stevie Ray stuff came from. But then Albert King learned it from another guy, and then that guy learned it from another guy. It's a language, that passes on. But anyway, I'm going to show you some pretty cool licks. I think you can, really use them. They're tasty. And then also, just let you guys know, I've got a bunch of free apps. You can click the link below. There's a tuner, there's a blues series of lessons, a bunch of really cool stuff. And also leave a link for some free blues lessons below too. So you can check all that stuff out. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you these 3 tasty little morsels. All right, here we go. Okay, so I was playing just a jam track in D. Which is, kind of like just a riff on Born Under a Bad Sign. But so we're just going to go right into this. We're just going to be right in our, favorite pentatonics. We've got the root right there on the 10th fret. All that stuff. So we're kind of in that box, and then we're in the next position above, really just these 2. So we've got the 15 and the 13 on the high E, and then that same thing on the B. All right in this, little spot. The first lick I'm going to show you is probably the easiest one, and you hear Stevie Ray do it a lot, and also Albert King. Just real simple little thing, very tasty, very slow, and we're going to take our 12th fret on the G string and bend it slowly up. And I'm going to bend with these 2 fingers, and as I bend up, I'm going to move my index finger over to the root, right there on the 10th fret. So it sounds like this giant bend. It deceives your ear. It's like, it sounds like this impossible bend, but really you're going, it sounds like a huge guitar slide. Alright, so that's the first lick. Easy enough. Good warm-up. The next one we're going to do right here on the B bend. So I'm going to bend the 13th fret on the B string with my ring finger and my middle finger and even my index finger to just be really accurate with that bend. And so what we're doing is we're bending that up to the root. That's a D note there. We're bending a C note up to it. So you really have to use your ear to not overbend or underbend. It's got to be. So here's the lick. So we bend that B string, then we're going to get our index to the root, and we go down the blues scale, or the pentatonic. We're going to get our ring finger to the 12th fret of the G, and you can bend it with one pick, or So I'm going, pulling it off to the root right there, and then going back to the 10th on the G and giving it a nice, you know, a nice shake. And I'm definitely using kind of the weight of the guitar and my hand to shake it, even though it looks like just my hand shaking. If you're working on your vibrato, you can just literally just try and shake the guitar neck a bit, and you'll start to feel it. And eventually, you'll start to feel the balance off of your hand. At least that's how I did it. Okay. That's the lick. I'll do it 2 times regular and then 2 times super slow. Here it is slow. All right, the last thing that, that is a big part of Albert King and Stevie Ray Vaughan is this kind of, you know, see, I went into that other lick there. So in this blues box, if we're right there on the 15th fret of the high E, we've got a whole step bend with ring, middle, and index. And so when you're bending it up here, that's the next note in the scale. But then the tasty thing is you have a blues note right here, that flat 5. So you can bend it a whole step up or tease that half step right there. So I just went, see that, but with bending. So already you have a whole step bend, then a half step bend, you know, lots of stuff right there. There's a real hard attack from the 13 of the high E to the 15 on the B, which is the root. And I'm going down and then up. So you've got this bend. I'm down picking. Most of the emotion you hear in those guys, that really emotional bending that you're hearing, is typically in this spot of the scale, and then you can also do it right here, which would be the 12th fret. So when you're on that G string bend, you can even bend it super. I mean, you can bend it as a little harder on that high E. At least on this guitar, the note kind of dies when I bend it that far. Okay, but there's a couple other things in that bend. One is you can be bending a string up to that note. Instead of us having this be the highest note, we can take from this little 3-finger run as we're bending up, we can take our ring finger off and bend it to that note, like this. See that? Okay, so there's that. And then the last thing too is you can actually just bend that last little spot, this little box. You can just take your index finger and bend it a whole step up and let it come back down if you want. So even after all that kind of milking stuff, when you're in this little box, if you can get your ring finger to the 14th of the G, that's where I'm sliding into my master position here. Hopefully you can squeeze some of that stuff into your playing. I know I always get excited when I learn a new lick and then try and get it into my vocabulary. So that's what I think you guys should do. Remember, I got some free apps and some free blues lessons. You can click the link below this box. I always appreciate it. We'll see you in another lesson real soon, I hope. And thanks for all the support. We'll see you later.